Good morning, good morning, people. Good morning. This is little old me, Spirit Journey. Good morning. I hope you all are bright eyed and bushy tail. Good morning. It is Saturday morning, 8:54 a.m., May 27, 2023. And yes, I am at home. I'm in my living room. And I'm doing a live, live stream using StreamYard. Yes, yes, yes. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Yes, I invite you to say hello in the chat room. Yes, it's little old me, Spirit Journey. And yes, that's my avatar. Yeah, I was going to show my face and I said, I don't want to scare anybody. The early morning look. Yeah, I've been up for a while, but I'm still in my little jammies. And, it is what it is. I don't want to spook anybody too much. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming on board early this bright eye and bushy tail morning. Yes, yes, yes. Well, yeah, my doggies are near me. My little Lily is right by my feet. My little boy, Lavin, he's near me, but he's on the floor. And my other little girl, Lilac, she's on her little pillow. We're all doing okay this morning. Yes, you may have noticed for the past 2 weeks, I didn't upload anything, and I want to explain what happened. Because I did that um, live interview 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday, and let me tell you what happened. Well, I thought this was going to happen, and what happened? I did that interview with Renetta Jones, targeted individual, or what do you call it? Technologically trafficked, something like that. And it's my first interview with her. And I think it was the day after the interview. Okay, that was on a Wednesday. So now it's like 2.5 weeks ago. And YouTube pulled a video of mine, some type of violation. And again, these are old videos from 2020. And then the next day after that, it pulled another one pulled, and one was some medical thing. I said, what the heck? What are they talking about? I didn't even bother to, like, you can contest and all that. No, when they pull a video, that's it, honey. Like pulling a tooth, you can't grow another one back. Yeah, and so they say you cannot upload any more videos for 2 weeks. And you have two violations, and you get a third one, we will permanently remove your channel. Could you believe that? Yeah, and I thought this was going to happen. Yeah, it seems like my videos, but very few viewers, but somehow someone is coming on my channel, and they see, if it was all about algorithms, those algorithms from 2020 would be in place and pull it, right? Because it's an algorithm, or is it someone saying, we don't like the content that she's giving. But, she's not saying anything bad, but we don't want these topics on this platform. and coming from me, because you notice with people whose channels get pulled, that you have other YouTubers who have their content that have the person whose channel was removes content on their channel, but nothing happens, and they can, you know, um, earn a living using other people's content, right? So I am taking a little personal, warning. You start to feel like that they're patronizing you, giving you a spanking. And I think my content is pretty, you know, um, I think it's interesting. Um, but some things they don't want you to talk about. But it's something because you have people who have all types of talking, conversation, but nothing seems to happen. Why my channel? I could see if I was a big, big channel. I mean, so that's why I'm thinking, hey, what few views that I get, someone is watching. If you don't like my content, then don't watch. Dude, come on, give me a break. I do this as an outlet just to relax. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I'm back on the saddle again. Yeah, I was, uh, YouTube had put me in the doghouse for 2 weeks. I couldn't upload anything, couldn't post, etc., etc. So now I'm just explaining. Hey, Pyramid Seven. Hey, hello. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for coming on. Pyramid says just jumping in to say hello and good morning. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're back. Yes, I'm glad I'm back too. Good to see you. Welcome back, and thank you for saying hello. Yeah, I got a strike. Yeah, I got true strikes actually, Pyramid. Yeah, they gave me two strikes back to back. 2.5 weeks ago, I did a live stream, Pyramid. I had a guest on by the name of Raynetta Jones. She's very, very controversial in some of the things she talks about. And I mean, I had her on. It was almost a 2-hour interview. And the next day, they pulled a video. And then the next day after that, they pulled another video telling me that I was in violation of medical misinformation. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah. And they said, you got two strikes. We're pulling your, we're going to block you. You can't upload any content. And you got 2 weeks. And you get a third strike, we're going to pull your channel permanently. So I was just discussing this, what's been going on for the past 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks here. Um, yeah, they've been doing this a lot now. The attacks now is getting more frequent. These attacks. Yeah, I had them do this to me, I think early in the year, around maybe January or February. And so it's getting more and more and more. They're doing it more frequent, these blockings. And I speculate that it goes far beyond just algorithms. I'm not a big channel. I don't get a lot of views, and I think that's by design too. They don't want people to hear my content. Yeah, could I be a better YouTuber in my presentation? Sure, but I get these pain. I get a problem with my neck. I used to try to really put up better did more editing and things like that. Um, but I was getting severe neck aches, and so now I say, yeah, I almost fainted a few times. The pain in my neck, and one day I went to lean forward to reach for the change the channel, and I almost fainted. This happened a few times, and then it happened in public. I was outside, just walking, and the thing almost happened. Each time I had the pain in the neck, and I think it's pressing on a nerve. Something's going on. So it started like in 2018, and I decided, don't do any more to try to alleviate any neck discomfort, but don't do um, any editing because I have really bad posture. I do. I have bad posture when I'm on my computer, and I need to preserve my neck. So now I say, let me just do live streams. So it's not as bad. It comes and goes because sometimes I forget about my posture, and I do the same thing, even doing, watching videos online. Yeah, it's true. I do this format. So yeah, I find that these attacks by the system, um, someone is coming on my channel, and I feel, and I speculate that what's happening. Uh, a key person is coming on, and then they don't like something. Now they couldn't pull my interview with Renetta Jones because I didn't say anything. Um, it was very careful that no, that we don't say certain words and things like that. But so because we didn't say any words, it's okay. We're not going to get you for this live stream, this interview, but we're going to get you on your past content. So what they're targeting me now for, that they've been doing now for the past maybe 7 months, they're reviewing old videos from 2020, and then saying you're in violation. Now, if I was in violation, why wasn't in violation then? Well, somebody is selectively pulling and accuse or saying whatever, and doing it that way. It's a warning. In my opinion, what's happening is a warning to don't talk to. I don't like people telling me who to talk to or not talk to. I was at this job once, and I was a oh, I was new, and um, I was being trained by one of the supervisors, and I caught one of the workers there glaring at me. Oh, don't get too friendly with her. We don't like her. I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I was in my 30s back then, and I'm not into stupid stuff and office politics. I was new on the job. The supervisor is training me. Oh, but I'm not supposed to like. I'm not here to like people or dislike people. I'm new at a job and I needed the job. You know, I don't like this catty stuff. People, mind your own bloody business. Stay in your lane and just do your job. Do your job and then come home and chill out. That's my motto. Just relax, do your job, what you're being paid to do, and go home. So, anyways, um, so yesterday, or I should say today, now I didn't know whether I would still be able to do a live stream because the last time, unless I calculated incorrectly, I had to wait maybe 3 weeks to get access to put up content. So I'm really grateful that Pyramid, that you letting me know that yes, I'm being heard. I'm doing this through uh, StreamYard, and so I did not know um, whether it whether the ban is lifted or not. So I was taking a chance, and I'm glad I did. I really wanted to explain to you all what's going on. So yes, please pray for me and navigating this channel. I think I love my content. I have some fantastic videos. Sometimes, during the week, I was just reminiscing. I said, let me just stroll through my channel. And I looked at all the videos I have. I said, wow, I don't even remember me doing this particular video. And the title, I said, I have some interesting topics. And I mean, I want to be a little different. Um, this my channel is really about people who just want to relax, hear someone's voice, hearing conversation. I love conversation. As I get older, I love hearing conversations, people sharing their feelings. Not people, I'm not into a shock jock radio. I'm not about that. I'm about people communicating with other people. These days, people don't really have a chance to really talk to another person, a person to person. And people are now being forced to communicate with people on the internet, on the internet. So I said, okay, uh, it's better than nothing, and I like to express myself, and I love to hear people's um, thoughts, just conversation. And I like to give what I like. I like hearing conversation. Those are the type of channels I like listening to. And yes, I was also listening to some of the garbage out there, the drama, and I really want to wean myself away from that. Um, but I love hearing just conversations, hearing people's thoughts. Oh, that's my tummy. I'm sorry, my tummy's growling. I'm sorry. Oops. So either way, yeah, I just felt it necessary to let you guys know what happened. And so, Pyramid, did you see the last video I did? The interview I did with Raynetta Jones. You know, yeah. Let me know what you thought about it, or anybody else who's going to come on board. Yeah, I did that live video, and it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. And let's see what else I want to talk about. Yes, just wanted to just talk a little general stuff. What I was doing for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I still do my walks with my dogs, and I hurt my back. Oh yes, people. Yeah, I hurt my back. I was just stretching, like I'm on what they call a keto diet for the past few weeks. Keto, you have a low carb diet. I mean, you eat food, and I cook most of my food at home. So I'm trying to get into ketosis. And yes, I was getting a little belly there. Yes, and I thought with keto, it might help, when you're on a keto diet, your body goes into a state of utilizing your fat as fuel rather than using the glucose that's in your blood. So when you have a low carb diet, your primary source switches of where your body gets its immediate fuel source. And so I'm trying to switch me from glucose that's in the blood, and that goes into the cells and the muscles, what's stored in the muscle, and to switch it to your fat. And I so that's what I've been doing. And it's different. I do feel a little tired, like even before doing the keto. I walk maybe three to 3.5 hours every day with my dogs. I have my dogs in the stroller. I'm pushing this thing, and I go through, to the park, and I'm having a good time. But when I get home, honey, my muscle, I'm tired. So I sit down by my computer. I'm being honest, by the computer, and I just want to veg out. And that's what's happening. And then you get real, real hungry. Yeah. So I've been eating like avocado, raw nuts, water, my water with my, I call it my elixir. It has like turmeric, uh, what else? my black sea salt, apple cider vinegar. Sometimes put a little garlic and onion and lemon and yeah, apple cider vinegar. So that's my little elixir. And I bought some what do you call it? This medium chain um, what do you call it? Medium chain fatty acids. It's a made from coconut oil, and it helps your body make ketones. So I take that also. I try it when I remember, that is. So that's what I've been doing, and I think my body is still getting used to it. I did lose a little weight, but it goes up and down, up and down. But yes, it's not so much the weight, but it's my belly, the little, you know. I don't want a belly. And you know what else I did? I did go to. I visited two gyms also. I've been to both of them in the past, and I was trying to decide which one. One is like a block away from me, another one is like 4 blocks away, and one is locals, and another one is bougie, and the price is also real big. The 3 times, the bougie one is 3 times the amount, almost 3 times, maybe 2.5 times the amount, and I don't know. Um, so I was thinking, get in that gym, Um, yeah, I've been watching, oh, what's his name? His name is, I just give his last name, Tate, Tate. Yeah, people call him the big G. And I enjoy watching him. Yes, I did. Yes, I do. There's some things that he talks about. He's a light skinned black dude. He doesn't use the color card. That's one thing I like about him. He doesn't use the race card. That's what I meant to say. He doesn't use the race card, and I like that about him. Yeah, yeah, you got it. Thank you, Pyramid. Thank you that you're on the ball with that. Yeah, so you're into current events also. So oh yeah. So I actually I learned about Andrew. Oops. Yeah, I learned about him in January when he got put in the slammer without any conviction. What do you call it? They didn't have a charge against him, but they just had him in holding. And he was recently released, maybe a month and a half ago, something like that. But yeah, I just learned of him in January, late January, when all the melee was out. And my curiosity got the best of me. Who is this guy? It was just by chance that something popped up on, recommended videos, and I clicked on it, and you could, he looked a little different, in my opinion, and I said, I want to investigate who this man is. And when I learned who his biological father was, I said, I have to find out more about this man. Yeah. And I started combing through um, the internet on anything about him. And I was amazed about him. Oh, yes. And I'd say it, yes, I am a woman, and I do not agree with everything he talks about. And just 2 days ago, I did hear other things about him that wasn't very positive, to be honest. But you can learn from anybody. You can learn from the devil, and you can learn from an angel. Learning is learning. Yeah, it was sketchy. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, he actually reminds me. I didn't know I was going to talk about him, but I like to go with the flow, how I feel. Yeah, He actually he's a composite of two men that I actually know. They both look like him, one more than the other. One was from my military when I was in the military, and another one where I live. And yes, these were, uh, that element that tape is known for with regard to the female. Yeah, one of them, the one from the army, I mean from the Navy. I was in the Navy. It's the one in particular that I was fond of. I saw him. I was much older than him, and I saw him as a baby brother. Yeah, I was older than him, and I saw him as a baby brother, and he would tell me things, what he was doing. And he's telling me because he knows he's doing wrong, and he just wanted, sometimes people know what they're doing, and they share what they're doing because they want someone to put them in check. And that's all of that what it was. And I would tell him exactly what I felt about him and his behavior. But it was all in love. All in love. Yeah, I loved him like a good, good brother, I cared about him. And I wanted him to get his act together, because I think deep down inside he was a good person. Yeah, he was from a biracial union, you know. Uh we just got along so well. I wonder whether, when they talk about past lives, whether we had a past life together. Yeah, it was like, it was just that type of relationship. I know that he would help me if I needed help, and vice versa. I don't mean financial, I mean emotionally, he was there for me. Um, So I started watching he's very motivational. I watch his yeah, 2 days ago I watched on YouTube you can click on, what do you call it, like a playlist of things you want to watch. So I clicked on everything that I can find that's a motivational thing about him, because he does his motivational speeches, and I felt better inside. Um, I felt like motivated to do push-ups. I haven't gotten the motivation yet to do the sit-ups yet, but but at least I attempted, and I did 3 little push-ups. Yes, I did, just to get me moved. He moves my energy. That's what I like about him. And yeah, I'm trying to get my health in order. Um, I was developing high blood pressure. This never happened to me. All this happened this year. Yeah, people, this year. Um, I've always had excellent blood pressure. Um, and then the belly fat, and then I got winded before, when I was just sitting up in bed, and I went to the doctors, and I saw what do you call a heart specialist. They said you're okay. They did say about the blood pressure, and then I did what you call a stress test, an echocardiogram, and this other test, and they said it's okay. Everything is uh, normal for. They said normal for my age. Whatever. But I just want it clean. I want a clean bill of health. So that's why I want to target the belly fat. Oh, also they said pre-diabetic. Yeah, and that was a big. I never heard that before. But again, I had. It wasn't a fasting blood sugar. And yeah, they told me to get the blood test, but I had just eaten. So again, it could have been just that, but whatever. Hearing high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, something's going on in my body and the time. I said, I gotta take care of my health. My health is very important to me. So uh, Tate also, he encourages people, men in particular, to take responsibility and exercise. He said something about like I thought it was interesting. He says something like um, about depressed people. He said, he talked about this one guy, and that the guy emailed him. He said he feels that he wants to hurt himself and blah blah blah. He said, well, he said, I'm not a psychiatrist, but he said, look, just do this. Um, he said, not a shrink, but let me at least tell you this. Um, get a six pack and contact me back once that's done, and we talk then. Well, the person got themselves a six pack. And when I talk about a six pack, guys, when you get your tummy real hard, that's what he did. He said, wow, I'm so glad that you told me that. I did that. I got a six pack. I feel so much better about myself. And it turned out that he was depressed because his girlfriend had left him. And that's why he was depressed. So then Tate says, you know, that you can't, how did it word? I don't want to give wrong information, but that to it's hard to do like two things. You can't like be depressed if you're busy. He said stay busy. He said that he's trying to say is your thoughts or your emotions, it's just that, thoughts and emotion. It's secondary. He said is about the mind. Yeah, Pyramid said exercise is definitely very good for mental health. Yeah. He says if you're feeling really good about your body and everything, your health is important. He says, do these, he says, stay busy regardless how you feel. He's meaning his mental state, your mind. He said, your mind or your body, is going to say no to things. But he said, go beyond it. Don't listen to it. And I understood what he meant. And it started encouraging me. Sometimes, like, I don't want to do certain things because I just don't feel like doing it. He said, push yourself, regardless how you feel. Do it. It's not like you have a chain on you, your legs and your arms, right? It's not there. It's your mind, and your mind doesn't want to do certain things. He said, just ignore that and do what you're supposed to do. And it did motivate me that day to do a little bit more. And so I I appreciate that. I appreciate that encouragement of I don't have to always listen to my mind. It's like a program, a sabotage program that goes on in your mind. Your mind, and you know what else about the mind? Not all thoughts are yours. It blew my mind. Just because you hear something in your head, so to speak, your thoughts or voice in your inner ear, doesn't mean that it's your voice. I'm going to repeat it again. Just because you hear something, a thought, doesn't mean that it's your thoughts. They have these devices, the V2K machines, that they can target you. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Say hello in the chat room if you wish. Don't be shy. Hello. So anyway, yeah, they have this device called the V2K machine, and the V2K machine uh, could be spoken into, and you hear the thing in your head, and you think it's your thoughts, and you say, "Oh well, it's my thoughts. Oh, that must mean that I want to do that," and then you do it. Could you believe that? Could you believe that? Yeah, the pyramid says you have to imagine negative inner dialogue as being played on a tape recorder. You have to push the stop sometime. Thank you, pyramid. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, turn the damn thing off. And it's like we entertain these things. Why are we entertaining this negativity that's not serving you? But getting off your boom boom, doing your sit ups, push ups, jog, or whatever what it is, cleaning your house. I said, my God, I gotta master me. I have to learn to master me. It's not up to anybody else. So, hearing Tate, his speeches, motivational stuff, he's on to something. And I also admire that he never uses, even when he's explaining his background, he never uses the race card. And I admire him for that because it's not on a pity party. He knew what he wanted. He was talking about when he saw someone with a fancy car. He was a teen or something like that. He says, I want that. So he said, how can I go about in getting these things? And he said he started different businesses, and one particular business did stick. I don't agree with that business. I have to be honest. I don't agree with that business that he started with the phone service thing. Uh, I I don't agree with that. Doing things like that. I do think it's exploitive. But either way, he, you know, he started to develop himself. Once he knew he could start one thing, he was able to start something else. And so that is what I appreciate, that he used his mind. Yes, welcome, welcome, viewer. Yes, say hello. I invite you to say hello in the chat room, just to say hello. Yes, I'm back on the saddle again. YouTube pulled me. Yes, for 2 weeks. I was in the dog pound for 2 weeks. But anyway, so I could appreciate that motivation, that despite the things that happened to you in life, what happened to him in life, he said, no, I'm not going to be poor. And he did what he can do and he made mistakes along the way. But one thing I like is that to take control of the body, I mean, when you're able to switch off that tape recorder that's in your head, that is masterful. I mean, one thing, you got a broken leg or something like that, you in severe pain. I kind of, but it's the mind that says that you're no good, or you can't do anything in life, or that type of tape recorder I'm talking about in your head. That's what I'm talking about. And I don't like that. I don't want that type of conversation in my head. Um, so I need a master. I need a master me. And uh, anybody could listen to Mr. Tate and get something out of him. Again, I don't agree with everything he says or does, but the principle behind self discipline and self responsibility. I love that. And I know I can do so much better to take more responsibility over my life and stop blaming my past. We all have had bad pasts, most of us. We're not, even like when you go on the internet with the royal family in Britain, that guy Prince Harry. Well, to many people would think he had a good life. It's horrible what happened to his mom. Horrible. I remember when that happened. But he was just a little child, and all this drama now. So, how do you master over stress and traumas? That is a key issue, people. How do we learn how to cope over the pain that we're feeling inside? you know, and that leads me to the next conversation, next topic about this, in this live stream. Um, I just found this video last night. Um, his name is Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell. He's a American Black fellow, and he talks about in some content of his. I think he's a researcher on history, and in particular about what they call Black history or African American history. And I thought it was very interesting. And he's a so-called conservative, but um, he talks about it's like a paradigm shift. Someone was sharing it on his live stream. Another black fellow that lives in California, and this fellow that's sharing his content. Um, he's from an extremely so-called bad neighborhood. I think you call it Compton, this place in California, and he's from there. And he said it was awful. He said, I am from the ghetto. That's what he says. And he's decided for himself that he wanted to get out. I don't remember his name. I generally don't give names of other YouTubers, but once in a blue moon I do. Ones I watch all the time. I might, you know, share. But him, I just found him this morning, and I watched maybe 3 videos of his. But I, I love to hear other people from the Black community say, I want to take responsibility. Um, and again, he featured a video with this. I think he's a doctor. The person that he was featuring, I'm he might be a professor. That's what I meant to say. He might be a college professor, but his name is Thomas Sowell, Sowell, and he talked about the uh, the misconceptions about what actually happened during the transatlantic, that trade that happened with Africa and the Americas. And um, think of that. I mean, it's I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to trivialize history, you know. But yeah, my ancestors, their trauma was in the West Indies. And I had an opportunity to live in the West Indies. I was born and raised here. My parents were born and raised here, but my grandparents from the Caribbean. And yes, it has its history. It does. It was filled with violence. Imagine the Caribbean is, a concentrated area of people that were forced to live there, and to be able to control uh, the people there when you know the black people there are of the majority, mass majority of the people there of black ancestry. So how were these people being controlled? They were being controlled by violence. The Caribbean knows violence. But the other thing about what distinguishes the Caribbean and, let's say, United States of America is that here in the United States of America, the black people are outnumbered. They are greatly, greatly outnumbered by by whites, or what you call European Americans, greatly outnumbered. So so a different type of tactic had to be used between the two divisions, the Caribbean, also Brazil. Brazil, again, most of the people there are uh, blacks and indigenous people there, and a lot of mixing. But if they use American standards of what about racial classification, it'd be overwhelmingly Black and Native, okay? But it uses a different system there. It has the grade system, how much of European you have to get some type of privilege. But again, it is such massive poverty there. But they were able to keep a lot of their heritage, different traditions and things like that. And but versus the U.S., a lot of the African traditions were removed. So it really is a different mindset of the two, the Caribbean versus Brazil versus the U.S. It's different, but yet the same. And they talked about, the video talked about Alex Haley. And Alex Haley allegedly said that he was trying to teach this mindset. It's really like a program. And again, I don't know whether this was just something false that was said about him, but uh, what it sounded like that he wanted. This was the movie Roots. Alex Haley is a man that wrote the book Roots, and it was a mini series on TV. It was the most watched uh, documentary uh, of its time, and it followed the generations of the man being kidnapped from West Africa and then brought to the United States, and then the generations under slavery and then post-slavery. Um, but could you imagine, people, that um, for if Alex Haley said that he wanted to create a mindset of its day to make you feel like a victim. When I was a teenager when the movie came out in the 1970s. I didn't have any Black pride in myself at the time. I felt shame, and I feel that movies of that time about Blacks was a shaming process. It was not to really give you pride, but maybe some people, it encouraged them to maybe find out about their own specific heritage. And then later on, the DNA test started coming out. Yeah, I did my DNA test too. And yeah, it, pretty much it's uh, what I thought it would be. And I decided for myself, and I shared this before regarding my personal DNA. I embrace the dark and the light in my genetics, and I did what's called a what do you call it? I made a shrine, an altar. That's the word, altar. And I bought, like, when people do those rituals, they use alcohol, booze, whatever we want to call it. And I bought several bottles of alcohol that represented each of the places that my genetics came from, both light and dark, black and white. I did. I say, you know something? I have what I have. And yes, I come out of, my genetics come out for those who were enslaved and those who had slaves. Yes, they live in my genetics. And I say, I cannot change the past. And it's not up to me to hate anybody because what happened to my ancestors. There are things that are happening right now in life. And I'm going to worry about something that ended in the Caribbean in the 1830s and the 1840s. It's foolish. It happened. And I had an opportunity to live in the Caribbean, and I got firsthand how people treat one another there. Yes, I lived on the island of St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. I lived there, but my family's not from that island. But I did have an opportunity. Well, but I am um, my I had family from St. Croix, also part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I lived in St. Thomas, and I I I mean I lived it. I lived with a house owned by the locals. I worked for a utilities company. I worked with the locals there. Um, it was what it was. It was a lot of there's domestic violence. It's violence against women there. And no, this is not an anti-male rant. No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But I'm just letting you know what happened to women and myself there. And so uh, people here in the US want to point out about things in history and the things going on right now. There are people um, who prey on other people, on weaker people. I've met people who try to order people, carry my books, carry my, right? Has anyone ever tried to, a bully from the ghetto try to do that to you? You better carry my books or give me your lunch money. These are people that got a problem. And yeah, oh, the use of term, get this. I hope I hope I didn't misunderstand the this guy, this researcher, Thomas, oh God, Sowell, Thomas Sowell. Um, it's called like the how to go, the 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 black, the redneck, and the conservative, something like that. He said that there are what you call black rednecks, and that you had people. And no, this is I'm not just trying to slam us, black people. No, but it's just a perspective. That's all. Why I'm sharing this. The different perspectives, different things that are going on at once. We all know the narrative of the bad white person who in those Hollywood movies who did lynching and all these horrendous stuff of terrorism. But a lot of other things happen at once. And so that is what I'm getting at. Um, he said that there were people, what they call black rednecks, who like you learn behavior by the people who you are around. And in the United States, the people who had proximity over the black slaves were poor white people, what they call rednecks, and that they both spoke similar language, type of, jargon. And then he explained that what we call eubonics comes from England. The grammar and everything. And it was just really interesting that the bullying, it was something that was happening amongst your own. People bully who they think they can get away with. People violate others. Weak people like to violate other people if they can get away with it. They don't like themselves. And so they do things to harm others. Hurting people hurt. So it was just a different perspective. I've never heard of that term, a black redneck who has a mindset, a poor mindset. That is the concept of a redneck. Someone with a poor mindset, a limited mindset, a a a a mindset of I want now. I'm not going to work for it. I'm going to take it from you because I can. And then you got the liberals. It was funny. I hope to find that full video with that title, something like the black, the redneck, and the liberal, or something like that, white liberal. Oh, it's almost, it sounds like a joke. But yeah, mindset, people, mindset. Here, I live in New York City. I love New York City, but people, it is going through a mind game. People are, you got the bullies out there. Why do you have all this black on black crime? And like I heard in a recent case, this YouTuber shared it. I don't know what state it came from, but a little 11-year-old black boy in his mother's house. The black mother had a boyfriend and boyfriend problems with him, and he was violent. So the mom tells the son, call the cops and call your grandma. What was happening? Hey, Pamela. Good morning, Pamela. Good morning. It's good to see you. Yeah, yes. Yeah, you could always watch the beginnings of the live stream once it's uploads and all that. Yeah, I'm just going with the flow. Yes, YouTube put me on a timeout. They pulled, I did a live video a live interview 2.5 weeks ago. And the next day after that, they pulled a video. The next day after that, they pulled another video, YouTube, and said, you're in the doghouse. You can't do anything for 2 weeks. So yes, the 2 weeks is up, and now I'm doing the live stream. That's what happened. But I'm back in the saddle. It is what it is, what happened. But welcome to the live stream. I enjoy seeing my regulars. It's always you guys encourage me too. I need you just as much. So anyway, with this things that's been happening in these large cities, um, people are being people saying, what? Yeah, I was in the doghouse. Yeah, they did that to me. Yeah, they did that, but I'm back on, and it's just yeah, they threatened to permanently pull my channel because I have 2 strikes. They say you get one more strike and we're gonna pull your channel permanently. Yeah, and I think it was because of who I interviewed. Even though we were careful not to use certain words, they decided to go look up my content from 2020 and say, because of what you put up in 2020, we're pulling it. Oh, you're in violation now. That's what they're doing. It's all a tactic. Someone is I speculate someone is watching my channel and uh, trying to coerce, trying to intimidate me not to talk about certain topics, and that's what's happening. Uh, so that's the deal. But anyway, with this, what's happening here in New York City? This little boy. Yeah. Let me talk about this. Um, and I always get kind of confused about this. And again, it's about really exploring what's going on. People were being deceived, all of us. But either way, a 11-year-old boy calls the cops because the mother told him to call the cops because the boyfriend was uh, hurting her and she needed help. So the little boy does so, calls the cops and grandma, let them know what's going on. But when the cops came, and I don't know whether I could say that the C word, when enforcement came, um, they were very aggressive and they ordered everybody out the house. Well, this little boy had the phone in his hand. I think he had a phone, something in his hand, and the enforcer uh, uh, used the weapon on the little boy. The little boy is fine, you know, and it's shown where where he got, you know, injured. But what was interesting is that the whole focus, no one, I'm okay. Um, the enforcement, law enforcement should have been careful. I'm not trying to say, get them off the, you know, off the, not be accountable, but all the anger was no longer on the boyfriend who's beating up the mother, but on what the cops did. And I asked myself, I'm confused. We live in house. Many of us live in households and being abused by your own, but you tolerate it. But God forbid if someone outside of your community does something, and it's like you want to get the NAACP and all the news coverage, but where was the news coverage when your man is violating you? And so that's what I see what's happening in these large urban areas. We don't care about what we do to our very own, and we are so focused on what somebody outside is doing to you. You know, people, you are giving up your power. What do you mean, I'm giving up my power? Well, if you only care about yourself when someone who doesn't look like you does something, but when someone does look like you, and when 99% of the time it's the people from your own neighborhood that is violating you, you don't say a damn thing. You don't do like what do you call, like a march or let's say a drug den. You got drug dens in these neighborhoods. How come they're not getting a whole bunch of people from the community boycotting that drug den and say, get the, you know what, out of our neighborhood? How come you don't see that? You don't. And you know, you're probably not going to see it until you wake up, people. You need to open up your eyes on yourself first. The real attack is your mind and how you feel about yourself. How do you feel about yourself, people? Are you calling yourself that bad word, that N word? Are you using the B word, referring to a woman? So how far are you going to get if you don't respect, you use that word, that N word, for people from your own community, and then you don't respect women? How far is that community going to go? How far is it? If you're believing that you are that your own community is your own enemy, how far are you going to grow? You are being mind controlled, people. They are controlling your thoughts about yourself. They want you to loathe yourself. You know, the fattest person in America is from my own people. The fattest people is Black Americans. We're the fattest and we're the sickest here. Could you imagine if we utilize? Oh, Pamela said they went into my archives. Okay. Okay, yes, Dr. Cole. Yeah. So just imagine. Oh, I'm just forgotten what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I got distracted. I was reading the messages. Um, oh, brother, what was I just saying? I know. Talk about the community. Oh, they want you to hate yourself. Yeah, this is a mind control, and they plan this. They orchestrate things in the media, and it's brainwashing you, and it's making you hate your own, hate yourself. And over again, you're saying that N word or the B word. A neighborhood like that cannot prosper. You see in neighborhoods where people care about each other, they're not using these pejoratives against their own. If it does happen, it's at a minimum. But you go to certain neighborhoods, and that's all you hear. You are reprogramming yourself to, I mean, continually negatively programming yourself for failure. And so people like Tate that I mentioned, yes, he's a controversial individual, Mr. Tate. But Mr. Tate said, go beyond what you hear. And he said, have a goal for yourself. Find out how so and so got what they have and go for it. Take care of your health. You're out there taking care of your health. He said, without good health, you ain't going to, you're not going to live. He said, focus on your health and then strategize a plan how to get yourself out of poverty and aim. Many of us, we don't have an aim. We're trapped in this bubble. We're the fear. That's what I'm saying. We're the fattest people on this in the United States. We have the worst health. Well, how happy are you going to be if you are out of shape? You're eating all this junk food, people. Junk. You think you're going to thrive eating junk food? Why aren't you boycotting those fast food outlets that are Frankenstein food? Frankenstein food. And you tolerate this. You tolerate Frankenstein food and you take no step, but yet you go to church and talk about, God. You think God's going to want that nasty food in your body? But you eat it and then you go to church and it's hypocritical. Your spirit is important, but so is your body. And you should start focusing on your health. At least if you feel good about yourself, you're going to start being more motivated to get things done in your life. Yeah, I mean, I'm not over exaggerating. My major in college. I have a master's degree in nutrition. Yes, I passed it. I struggled, people. It was a very hard process. It took me many, many, many years to complete it. Um, and I do not know everything about nutrition, but that I successfully got my master's degree in science on nutrition. And I had to read all these statistics on health. What type of diseases are people getting? What diseases are demographics getting? How long do they live in certain demographics? And I had to read these things. And the worst person in America, hands down, are Black Americans. And then even make a distinction between Black Americans and Hispanics. It's a difference, or Afro Latinos, different. They have a slightly different outcome. But the worst is American Blacks. Why? Because a lot of things that happen to us. Yes, we're surrounded, we're a minority meaning under 50%. We are outnumbered by quantity wise. And they created a system to have us encapsulated by the dominant group. And so resources could hardly come into our communities. It's being monitored. And anything that comes in, it's usually for our detriment, like certain drugs and certain what you call firearms. Let me call it the bang bang. Okay, what are in these areas? Drugs and bang bang, and we live it in fear. Don't you realize when you are in fear, what happens when we are afraid? Uh, don't you think our blood pressure would go up? My blood pressure definitely went up during this past 3 years. Now, but um, when it first started, I was experiencing severe anxiety like I never felt before. The people who passed away. You don't think those people passed away because of stress? Yeah, they stress can kill you. And so you're under stress. Yeah, thank you, Pamela. Thank you for the recognition. Yeah, yeah. People are, um, people are. It's a system of control. You control their mind. You control what they eat. If you can control your mind, the mind and the body, they got you. But we never speak out. We just wonder. Remember a couple of years ago, uh, on the videos on YouTube, they were showing these black people, mostly women, excuse me, big boned women, okay, and they used the vehicle to ram into the fast food joint because they forgot a particular thing in their order. Crazy things happen. You don't think that food has control over your mind, that it's addictive? What happens when someone doesn't get their fix? They have, what do you call it, what do you call it, withdrawal symptoms. And sometimes withdrawal symptoms could be manifest in different ways. Violence. And that's what was happening. Remember that, people? Remember that was just maybe 3 years ago? Countless videos of people having a meltdown because of their food. People. And you're not boycotting it. No one's boycotting these. These are tricks of a devil system. It is a devil. Those things take over your mind, or a demon, and they take over your mind. You're probably hearing voices in your head. You don't think that they're putting what do you call it, nanoparticles in it, in those food that make you maybe hear voices and doing weird things, and then you get this big belly, right? You get the diabetes. You know that you don't need. You know why they cut they ended slavery? Because they knew that technology would be the new slave master. They knew that technology would become the new slave master. So you don't need a chain on somebody's neck, arm, and legs. You just create technology, get you dependent on it, and you become a slave to that system, to that technology. And that's what's happening now. You have people who could see into the future. You don't think that these people in the past saw through the future? You have people who do, what do you call it? The what they call the Illuminati, the Masons that control the U.S. You don't think that they do magic and could see into the future about the technologies? They say, "Hey, let's cut this um, slavery. We're going to go industrialization. We're going to be a industrialized nation, and we're going to be dependent on this system. We're going to utilize cheap labor, and it'll be the new slave masters." I believe that is what's happened in history in the Americas. You notice with each technology, the more violent our society becomes, the more dependent. Look at the devices, the smartphones. Are we any smarter? Are we really communicating more? Even though we have these smartphones, are we really communicating with each other? No. We're becoming dependent on the technology, and it's controlling our lives. I saw, uh, it was last year, I believe it was last year. I was in a supermarket. It was a cute, adorable little boy. Could have been maybe 5 years old. I think they were Dominicans. Um, the parents looked like nice folk, like in their 30s or something like that. And the mother had those little belly bags, and the little pouch bags in the belly area. And she had the little phone there, the little smartphone. Well, the little boy unzipped it and he wanted it. The mother calmly put the little smartphone back in, and the kid had a meltdown. And I talked about this when it happened. Uh, the kid, I didn't know 5 year olds, he looked about 5 years old. I didn't know that children that young knew certain bad words. He called me it when I thought it was escalating so much. I felt, that if no one say anything, someone's going to get hurt. So I said, stop it. I scolded the little boy, and the boy went off on me verbally. And then the little boy started punching the mommy in the face, pulling her hair out, uh, kicking her. And then you know what else he did? He spat at us. I kid you not. So I was admiring the little boy initially because he was standing so nicely right beside me, and he looked like someone, someone who I know when they were a little boy. And so, oh, what a sweet little boy. And then just moments later, he walks over to mommy, and the drama happened. And the drama even got carried outside of the store. The mother literally had grabbed the little boy's feet and had the feet, so the boy was elevated, head to the ground and legs up by the mother's face as she carried the little boy out the um, um, grocery store, and continue on and on. And some of the adult stores, oh, the poor little boy, yeah, to other people can, came by, try to comfort the boy, and then he spat at the lady that was next to me, who was Spanish speaking, and talked to the mom, whatever. And the boy spat at her. Yeah, I didn't know even little children could spit that far. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So people, these are things that are happening in our community, and that these new devices are the new slave masters that control what you do. They control your emotions. Hey, let's go. Okay, let's get that fast food thing. I'm getting. Don't you notice, like, sometimes you're on the computer and then something like a message comes up, and it might refer you to a video, a food video or something, or commercial. They put a commercial, right? You don't think that's by you think that's by chance? You're being watched by this AI. AI is controlling the internet, controlling your life, and makes you, oh, I want to go to get that fast food. Oh, I'm not going to go exercise today. And they target you. And you notice our communities in the Black community that we're very intense. Don't you notice that a lot of the news footage or celebrities they focus on now are Black people? I've never saw this type of coverage for my past 40 plus adult years. Never saw this like this. And isn't it convenient, coincidental that just in less than a week, two very high profile people of the Black community, that, yes, they were older, But don't you realize that things are happening in clusters, clusters, clusters? This is to pull at you, I believe, is to pull on your emotions, to make you feel vulnerable, make you feel like, wow, here are these high profile people, they're dying now. Oh, what about me? Oh, I might be next, right? Does that ever get in your thought? It's meant to get in your thought. The vulnerability that they're trying to project upon us. Yes, your health. If you're not healthy, you're not going to feel good about yourself. You're not going to treat yourself well. You're not going to treat your children well. You're not going to be behaved in church when you do go, etc., etc., etc. The new slave master is not the white man per se. It is technology. Technology is the new master on the planet. It's called AI. AI knows how to press our buttons. They know how to press our buttons. They know when to put that thing on social media that certain groups will go frenzy over what they see, seeing people getting choked on camera, seeing people being shot up on camera. You don't think that this is traumatizing? This is like a new slave ship coming over the Atlantic or the Indian Ocean. And you are watching live. You are watching a new type of trauma. PTSD, they are forming in our communities. That is what's happening. The new slave master doesn't necessarily have blonde and blue eyes. It is artificial intelligence. And they monitor you. They listen to you, what you listen to, what you watch. And then they make recommendations not in your benefit. They teach you to say bad things about women, to think bad things about women, to think bad things about men, to think bad things about certain races or nationalities or political parties, people. And is anybody there? Does anybody hear me? Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Are you seeing what I'm talking about? People are being manipulated. We've never really acted like this in America. I was able, let me tell you this. Back in the day, 40 something years ago, when I graduated from high school and got my first little job and going to college for the first time, when I went out shopping, go to a local supermarket or department store, I was never racially profiled. Never. Have I ever been mistreated by someone in public? Oh yes. Oh yes. Um, Little old lady. I was at an ATM with a relative, and I'm talking to my relative. I'm like 17 or 18 years old. And this elderly woman is at an ATM machine right next to me, and she glares at me, then snatches her purse, and like I'm going to steal it. I was wondering, what's her problem? And guess what happened? How karma worked. Well, she was too preoccupied with me and the other person standing next to me that the ATM machine ate her ATM card. Yep, it ate it, and she had to go inside. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's poetic justice, people. Yeah, little things like that happened to me. But at that time, when I was the, questionable young black female, back in the day in New York City, they try to vilify every young black person. And I was I was 17, 18 years old. And but yeah, I went into yeah, I went into department stores, supermarkets, and I was never racially profiled. Never. Well, let me tell you, people, 40 plus years passed, and you know what? I get racially profiled now. Guess who racially profiles me? Other Black people. I'm going to say it again. I am never racially profiled by white people. I mean, a lot of the white people left New York City, in Manhattan, you know, but I'm not racially profiled by white people. I am racially profiled by Blacks, Hispanics, and West Indian people. That is uh, oh, thank you, Paula. Thank you for your gift. Yes. Yes, I am racially profiled by minorities, by people of color. I went to a bank one time, and no, this is not about being uh, hating myself and just trying to pull down my own. No, but I'm sharing this to just open up your eyes what's happening because you are being programmed to hate yourself and to hate the people who look like you. It's a program. And I want you to wake up. So when you feel it happening, you know what's going on. Okay. Anybody could be a hater, anybody. But I'm just sharing with you what's happening. I'm 60 years old now. And I don't think I'm a threat to anybody. But it's happening. Why now? Okay. Yeah. The thing that happened at the bank, there was an incident that happened 14 years ago. It was right after my father's passing. And the bank that I had was bought out by another big major bank. And so I went to the bank to deposit a check. And that was it. It was a straight deposit. And I asked them when the check would clear and if they have a list of all the banks that I can go to now that they're my new bank. So I'll go to the teller and yeah, hey, Derek. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes. Welcome. Yes, I was in the dog pound. YouTube pulled two videos to excuse why they blocked me now from for 2 weeks to upload any videos. So now the 2 weeks is up, and so I took a chance to see if it really did end the block on my channel for content that they said I was in violation of. Then the content was from 2020, but yeah, they're harassing me. Yeah, so that's what happened. But it's good to see you all back. Yes, welcome. So, anyways, this incident that happened to me at the bank 14 years ago, it was just 2 weeks after my father's passing. Went to deposit the check, a straight deposit, and asked her for a list of other banks in the area that I can go to now that the bank that I was going to was bought out by this new bank. And so she said, go to customer service for the list. Well, the uh, the person that I spoke to was what looked like what we call a light skinned Hispanic woman from the Caribbean. Okay, and the woman that customer service was a very dark skinned West Indian sounding woman. And what had to happen was that after I left the teller to go get the list of the different banks in the area of the locations I could bank at, they called the security guard on me. Seconds after I arrived at the customer service and trying to uh, tell her, ask her for the list, the lady starts acting weird, and a security guard comes and real big dude, black dude, real big. And he couldn't speak English very, he spoke very um, uneducated person. His diction, what we would call a street person, street language. And he says, he mumbles something, and I didn't understand what he said. So my mind had to translate what he is saying. But what he was trying to say was, hey, lady, I heard you got a problem. And so when I realized what he said, I turned my head and looked at him and says, who said I got a problem? I don't have a problem. So I just look at him and he's just eyeballing me. And so then I went back to the lady, turned my head back to the customer service. And now the lady is acting bizarre and mocking me. Well, to make a long story short, um, I left. I left the bank. I started to cry. Uh, and again, my father had just passed 2 weeks prior. I'm under stress. Um, I talked to a relative about what happened, and they told me write the general manager for that bank, the East Coast. I live in New York City. So I do that. I type a letter. I wrote all the details, and I requested, I want to have a meeting with you, and that we sit down and we go over the video and to find out why a security guard was called upon me, why the customer service mistreated me. I was humiliated. Uh, I don't understand what's going on. Well, he refused. He said, well, anyway, there's no audio on the video. I said, I don't, that's okay. I want you to point out why the man, the security guard, was called upon me and why he treated me that way and why the customer service mistreated me. He says, oh, that wasn't a security guard. That was a personal banker. Oh, really? I said, well, who called the personal banker? I'm talking to the customer service to just get a sheet of paper of the different bank locations since the bank purchased the bank that I was banking at. And so now I have to go to this one from now on. Oh, I don't know. But that was a personal bank. Oh, really? He refused to meet me in person and to go over the video. Now, things like that happened to me. And there were other incidences. Like I went to a shopping mall and a security guard, I had my, what do you call it, my stroller with my doggies in it. And I've gone in there before. When a guy walks up to me, young black security guard, takes something, has something round in his hand and does like a scan over my body. He takes it's like I realize now what it was. It was an earpiece, but because I think he put it in his ear later, but he put it in his hand when he approached me, and he took it from my head all the way down to my feet and did a scan on me. I said, "You wanted to tell me something? What's up? What do you want?" Oh, nothing. And then he huffs away and walks away. And then it happened a second time with a Hispanic lady from the Caribbean type. The same thing with the scanning of their hand with this device in their hand. What the hell is going on? I used to do security work. I used to be a licensed security guard. So I know that is not something that you do. And again, I was quiet. I was just window shopping as I always did. Why were they brought over? Why did they do that? Back in the day, that would not have happened to me. I even went to, yeah, I'm sharing this. See, we're being taught not to trust one another. So you're getting Black people, West Indian people, Hispanic people who hate one another and want to put you in a bad situation. That is, you even have Black cops in New York City. I personally witnessed a Black man. I was at the street corner, and the cop was able to cross the street. Of course, the cars are gonna stop, but he just walks into traffic. The Black cop, who was a big guy, and there was a fight of a skinny Black dude and a young white man, and it looked like a vaudeville show, but they were trying to subdue the Black guy in question, the so-called criminal or whatever perpetrator. He could have been maybe 5 feet four, maybe 120 pounds, skinny, tiny dude. And now he's on the ground. And the Black cop grabbed him by the head and rammed it into the cement. I never heard an outcry from the community because you know why? Black people, Hispanic people, uh, everybody is being taught that this is how to treat you, to not trust one another and to disrespect one another. I witnessed that, what the cop did. We're being taught to be desensitized about violence, that when violence happens to you within your community, to not care. You're not caring about yourself because you are being programmed by AI. You don't need, white people don't need to go and have all these what do you call it, commercials or movies. It's the computer. And they are feeding you violence. And you're feeding off of it. Look at that lady that happened last year, the lady that went to Mexico with her so-called friends, her Black friends. And what did they do on TV? It was filmed and then uploaded. Right immediately after that thing happened to her, someone uploaded it on social media. And her family got a wind of it. A family member called another family member and said, hey, so-and-so's on the internet. Why? Because you are feeding those demons. You are feeding the demons that are out there that love violence. And the violence that we're doing is more and more against you. And you're so desensitized by it that you don't care anymore if someone from your community does acts of violence against you. You share it on social media as entertainment. Entertainment. And back in the day, I had gone to this. I went to Trump Towers in New York City, the first one. It opened around 1982 or something like that. I'm not sure the date. Anybody who knows out there, the Trump Towers in Manhattan on 57th Street and Fifth Avenue, what year it was open, please check that for me if you want to, if you know it. It's no biggie. But I went there when it first opened. It was real. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Pamela Shankel Robinson. Yeah, this is very sad. And you don't hear anything about her anymore. But yeah, anyway, I went to Trump Tower. I was just a teen. I could have still been a teenager. I could have been 19 years old. And racism was a real big thing in New York City. And I'm a very, very sensitive person. But I said, I want to know what's in there. Yeah, back then they had those, like in London, they got the guys with the red jackets and the furry hats that stand real tall. They used to have that at Trump Tower in Manhattan. And I was very intimidated, but I'm a very curious person, and I said to myself, I'm just as important as those other people. I want to know what it's like to go in a high end place like that. And so, you know what I did? I personally went there. This teenager, this black female, went into Trump Towers. It's a shopping center, and it's also a residence. I personally went there as a teenage black girl, went in there, and no one racially profiled me. Back in those days, black people were not allowed to work in those places. They're all white people that work in there. I didn't see any other black person in there, and no one bothered me. No one followed me. No one made me feel like I was going to rip them off. I personally experienced that. But God forbid now, I go in a bookstore. A couple of years, I'm not going to give the name of the bookstore. I went to a bookstore with my little doggies, and I've been in there before with my doggies. And that last time, I go in, the doorman. I said to the doorman, is it okay if I bring my dogs? Oh, it's no problem. So I go in. My dogs are well behaved, and almost immediately, a black security guard, a young fellow, the guy at the door, the doorman, was an older black man, 56, maybe 60s, or even close to 70. Very nice man. But this young kid, like in his 20s, early 20s or something like that, I see him following me, and I see him talking in his sleeve. And then I go down to the lower level, and lo and behold, he's there too. And he pokes his head from around the corner and is talking to his sleeve. So I think I approached him. I forget what I said, but I immediately after that, I asked for the manager, black female manager, and I told her what happened. I am not being racially profiled by white people. I'm being racially profiled by blacks, Hispanics, and West Indian people. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I was also someone tried to attack me a few times during the past 3 years, and who tried to attack me physically as I got up early in the morning to walk my dog. People are being trained to predate on their very own. They are taught to say words against one another. They even hate what gender they are where I live. Boys are dressing like girls. Black boys, young men, are dressing like girls. And they're doing the drugs. Now in New York City, we have those places where the weed places all over the city. All over the city where they, who do you mostly see in those places? But black people, mostly. Now, some of the tourists, the white tourists, are slowly going in it. But who is it really targeting? It's targeting black people. So now you have this legal drug now that's being that you don't think that they're treating those what do you call it, those joints with chemicals, things to alter your mind. They are controlling your mind with it. They don't love you. Then I say, hey, it's natural. They don't. I strongly believe that these things are being treated with certain chemicals, nanoparticles to greatly alter your thinking, your behavior. Look at the behavior of these people who are doing these drugs. You don't think that it's more than that joint that's going in their system? It's other things. It's other things. And they are socially engineering you to behave a certain way. They are purposely uploading things on the video that feed your negativity. Watching people with their vehicles crashing into a fast food joint because you got the order wrong, or you forgot the fries or something like that. They are out of control. And who do you mostly see doing that? Who? Who? Yeah, someone else shared this thing. They're noticing also the trend, what's happening here in America, and I'm sure it's happening all over. But see, every domain has its own people who they target. Human beings are being targeted. So if let's say in India, you're being targeted a different way. The people there. You're in Europe, you're being targeted another way. You're in China, you're being targeted another way. You're in Latin America, you're being targeted all different ways. People, they're finding out your weak spot, and AI, is the new master that is controlling your thoughts, your mind, how you think. You don't even know what you are now. Boy thinks he's a girl, or girl thinks she's a boy. You don't have a foundation, an identity of who you are. When someone is able to tell you who you are, you really are a slave. You are the new slave. Slavery is not about skin color. And one thing, those videos that I mentioned earlier in this live stream, the researcher, his name is Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell. And he researches things about what happened in slavery. And he shared also that slavery is not a new factor, and that slavery in the beginning had nothing to do with race. It wasn't racially motivated. Europeans had slaves, white on uh, white slaves. India had slavery. China had slavery, and Africa had slaves. People enslaved who they can take advantage of. It was not based on race. It was based on who you can control. And so we have to start reprogramming ourselves that what had happened in history, it happened to other people. Not to downplay what happened to you, but if you put things in perspective, that things are happening simultaneously all over the planet. You have to start learning history and not depend on what Hollywood has to say about it. You think Hollywood showed root to educate you on history, or as they say with Alex Haley, the author of the book Roots, that became a mini series on TV. He did that to program a thought process in your mind about how to feel about you, and it wasn't in your best interest, according to this video about him. But either way, history has a way of repeating itself. History is. Life isn't about cycles, just like you have seasons. You have winter, spring, summer, fall, and it comes over and over and over again. And we fall for the same thing over and over again. You see people look at young kids, and they bully each other. Or they say, you better carry my books. Isn't that someone who thinks that there's a master over that other person? You have it. I've seen it. I experienced it. And it leaves you feeling vulnerable and angry. These things are happening, and it's happening globally. And this AI technology are the new owners over humanity. See, yes, the black race are the indigenous race on the planet. And something happened long ago. And a new kid on the block came on. And don't you notice that the indigenous race is more and more being diluted genetically, getting paler and paler because we're becoming more and more mixed? This terraforming, it's a slow terraforming on the indigenous people of the planet. And they want to teach you to rely on this new technology, which is really being served as the new master, and it's enslaving humanity. It's enslaving you. We're becoming more and more robotic. You notice now people walk around with their cell phones in vulnerable places. You don't think that they design it to be thin like that so you can put it in your pocket so it'll go in your spine or in your genitalia so now you can't reproduce, or if you try to reproduce your baby got one eye and three arms. You don't think that's why they develop these things to destroy your genetics. You have people who prey on the inhabitants of this planet, and they hate you with such disdain, but they do it cleverly. What they are doing, they are teaching you to hate yourself, not enjoy what gender you are, to not enjoy if you have curly hair or big lips. They're even trying to now shame white people for having white skin. You have all these tattoo, what do you call it? These suntan parlors. Or these women are getting their boom boom jobs, right? Don't you see that now? These girls getting a boom boom back there. Oh yeah. Or breast. Yeah, they're teaching you don't like yourself, don't like what God gave you. But I'm saying, no matter what your race, color, nationality, or even religion, love yourself. Love the person you see in the mirror to overcome the targeting that is being projected upon you through AI. You have these devices on top of buildings that are becoming very popular in these cities. And don't you notice that like people can get like real edgy all of a sudden? Well, don't you think that is 5G being targeted upon you to alter your thought patterns, to make you act erratic, violent, fearful? Start noticing. Start noticing if certain areas has this behavior pattern. Maybe they're being targeted with 5G or other types of EMF. EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. They can alter it and they can make you feel certain things. And maybe they're also able to target you even inside your house through your device. Who knows? You may these what do you call smart TVs? Smart TV. What are these smart TVs programmed to do? You don't think that they can watch you through your smart TV, right? You don't think they can watch you. You don't think they can hear you. All those things like what's that thing that you can talk into it, the machine, and it can turn on or off the lights. You can turn off your TV. All these things. I forget the name. It's all AI. They listen to your conversation. And then they could put on your screen, hey, they're talking about such and such. Hey, let me recommend a video on what they are talking about. Or we just your friend, people. We're just your friend. No, they're not your friend. They are not your friend. And they are your new slave masters. And yeah, they're doing a lot of, they're showing a lot of commercials now with what we call interracial unions, couples and their kids. You think that's for your benefit? Or they're trying to do emergency? They know that they want to get all of you. They want to get black, white, yellow, red, and then they want you to force you together through violence or through stuff. And then it's like what they call coagulation and dissolving. So they dissolve to try to break you down, and then they try to bring you together. And that's what's happening. And that's like with the fish. It gobbles you up. It gobbles you up, and then it spits you out. They regobbles what they just, you know, it's a process, people. It is a process what they're doing upon you to control you. And they're doing it now through your devices. Do not put your devices in your pocket anymore. Your breast. I see women, Muslim women, with the hijab, they put their smartphone against their skull and they talk in it. You don't think that down the road they're going to get brain cancer? Or they put it in their breast. I've seen that. Those joggers. Or they put in their thigh. They're those thigh pockets for the joggers. Or the guys that put it in their pants by their privates. People, you gotta stop this. You have to stop this. They are mocking you through these devices that you are fixated at using. You think they're your friend just because someone tells you what you want to hear or feel through these devices doesn't make it your friend. A real friend would tell you, hey, knock it off. They'll warn you. But see, they're cuddling you. They're making you comfy, and they're telling you what you want to hear. And they're showing you more and more violence on these social medias. And who is being violated? At least with the videos here in America. Who are they showing? It is ridiculous. It is so sad. Yeah, this other YouTuber shared something this morning. Um, yeah, I've been watching this YouTuber for a little over a year now, and he's talking about the things that are happening in the media with uh, the reporting. Oh, what was that now? Trying to remember, but he gave a warning. He's a black man, and he talked about that they're going to start using the the pastors, TV personalities, and they're going to see people are being tricked. And oh, he talks about, what do you call it? Like, I do notice. I know I'm talking. I'm kind of not talking really cohesively this now. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Okay. What this YouTuber was trying to portray was that um, they want to program you using your own to do it. And he noticed that a lot of people in our Black community, um, they're into what you call the pyramid stuff, the ancient Egyptian mysticism and the masonry and all that. And a lot of these black leaders, I was really surprised when you mentioned it, but I did think about it and I started noticing the trend. Don't you notice now you have new black leaders? They have like the new Al Sharpton for social justice, this lawyer who somehow is not being used for everything, any little problem. And again, I'm not, if something really happens, or or violation, whatever, and your justice, and someone gets hurt or killed, um, it's good to have representation, but it's just something. It seems reminiscent. So yeah, Al Sharpton is still alive, but he's getting up there in age, as we all are, you know. But they're getting like a replacement for him. This lawyer now, civil rights lawyer. Uh, you also have who else now? Um, oh, people in the churches, that what they call the black church. And they are going to, according to this YouTuber, that these are going to be the new people to tell you what you to believe. But in the end, it's not going to help you. They are bringing in what this YouTuber calls the New World Order, and this YouTuber believes that they are going to utilize a black individual to actually bring in the New World Order, utilizing blacks in America, or blacks on the planet, through racism or whatever, and this new narrative. But we're being tricked. And he believes that these gods, he calls it the gods of yesterday, the ancient gods of ancient Egypt, and that they're being revitalized, that these gods, the ancient gods, are being rebirthed, being reintroduced, and they're utilizing Black America to usher in this new world order. For example, look at in the United States certain laws, like New York City. We have now what they call a Black DA, district attorney, and he is releasing violent criminals out there to harm us. Is he being used to maybe find employment, to generate employment for uh, homeless blacks, doing anything to help them, or the garbage that's in the street in black neighborhoods, or the poor education? Nothing. It's not being utilized. But yet the U.S. is recruiting undocumented workers and putting them in black neighborhoods, and then giving the little children that are with them access to schools. Well, if the schools are packed now with undocumented children, who's going to pay for this? How much attention does that American black child going to have? It's to hurt you. You have in these major cities, like New York City, like Washington, D.C., you have these black officials, you have black governors, I'm sorry, you have black mayors in major cities in America. And you find that in these major cities with black mayors, and even New York had a black governor, that melee is at stake. Melee. May Day too. You notice that it's getting more dilapidated, more violent. So how could you have more destruction when you have your own in office? Well, they're being put in to do the agenda for the new gods that are being revived, the new ancient, I should say, the revised ancient Egyptian gods. And I mean, it just struck me when he said that. And I started looking, thinking. I said, wow, he has a point. The major cities in the United States are that are run by blacks, but they're not protecting black interests. Look at Black Lives Matter. That organization, I watched a video last night about Black Lives Matter, that they are over $8 million in debt. 8 million. How does that happen? Well, those leaders gave money to their relatives and gave money for the what I call the alphabet soup community. Why would you do that? I thought it was about Floyd. You know that the Floyd had roommates, and they couldn't hardly afford to pay their rent because now they don't they lost a person who can't pay the portion of the rent anymore, and he had a car. Yeah, that family was not taken care of. No monies went to support them, help support them, get on their feet. None of it. None of that money from BLM, Black Lives Matter, was not used to help or protect the black community, but the alphabet soup community. The money was brought in for them. Start also noticing another parallel that I'm seeing right now. There was a couple of years ago, a lady that was with a boyfriend, and she was being monitored for I think over 6 months by the authorities, and unfortunately, she did get um, deceased from that law enforcement. Now they didn't say that this person was being monitored for all these months. The person allegedly, it, uh, she had a another boyfriend, and this boyfriend was a criminal. And the old boyfriend, asked her to rent a car, and he used this car, and somehow a dead body was in the rent a car. Well, she was a nurse. Well, the authorities found it, and she cooperated. She gets fired from her job, but she was possibly still in contact with this murderer. Well, no, well, she's now deemed as a hero, a martyr. Well, what about the person, the dead body that was in the car that she rented? And that she might have been a nurse, but she got fired because what she was involved in. But yet, there's all this hoopla and all this victimization mentality. But what the person was really all about. What was that other guy about who could not breathe? It's unfortunate what happened. I'm not excusing the behavior of what they might have. I mean, I'm not excusing the law enforcement's behavior, but the whole thing. Why do we protect criminals, and when someone is a true victim and good to their community, and that it's overlooked, and it's like, wow, why? Because you don't like yourself, and that you are promoting bad behavior, and that you support bad behavior, bad people, because you don't like yourself. And when you see someone who is a good citizen, you want to hurt them. You don't want them to succeed. You say, oh, you're trying to be white. I've never heard a white person say that you're trying to be white and use it as an insult. But I've heard people of color from my community say that when I was growing up in junior high school. I've never heard of anybody in other communities of color say that. They promote education, these other communities. They promote discipline. And when you try to show discipline in the Black community, you're made fun of. They say horrible things. Oh, you're trying to look, or you're trying to act white. But look at this: the same type of people that criticize Black people for educating themselves. So, what would they think about Martin Luther King Jr.? Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a very intelligent man. He graduated from high school at the age of 15, got into college, got his doctorate. What would they say about people like him? Would they call him a wannabe? This person sacrificed his life. And what does Black America do but poo-poo on him? They have schools named after Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and then have poor scholastics. This man is probably rolling over in his grave. You are given examples about how to live in community. The Civil Rights Act was successful in certain ways because of community, of people with like minds wanting something better in life. And it was tired of being harassed. And you know, a lot of those organizations are Masons. The police are Masons. These, what do you call, pastors are Masons. And they all work together. And then they open up shop in certain Black neighborhoods. I know of one, this sorority is right smack in the middle of this Black neighborhood. And I wonder, why did they open up this thing up there? Well, you have what's called spies. They don't love you. They never speak out against the crime that happens in this particular area. It's in St. Albans, Queens. Why the hell is it there? It's a very high crime Black area, Black and West Indians. And why is it there? Okay, it's a little place where the elderly can go to and can mingle. Do you think they really want to help them, or they want to find out who's alive? Okay, because you know, people talk. They talk about maybe when they're going on vacation, uh, what monies they're getting, possibly. I'm just speculating. They're spying on you, in my opinion. They want to know what's going in and out, who has what, whose kid is doing what, to monitor you. We have spies in the Black community, just like you have Black people in public office, and somehow all these Black people, the biggest time of all these Blacks in public office, but yet the condition of the Black community is getting worse and worse. How does that happen? You think if they got a Chinese person in public office, you don't think he's going to help his own? Well, let's say the Indian. You don't think they're going to help their own? And other ethnic people. But somehow they use the Blacks who are in public office like Obama. Like Obama was a real sellout. He, in my opinion, was a real sellout. We believe that he was a husband. He had a wife and two kids. He got popular in Chicago. He hooks up with a we call a liberal, high end black church, and he did what they call what do you call it, community program or something, community something. I forget the term, but they go around and telling people, oh, okay, a community organizer. That's the word, community organizer. What did he organize in Chicago? What did he? And how come when he left public office, how come he didn't go back to Chicago to be a public organizer after working in the White House? How come? Where is he, people? Where is he? What group did he he show? Tell me. Yeah, what group did he show? I mean, who did he promote? He promoted the alphabet soup community. And it seems like the alphabet soup community is recruiting more and more Black people. So they don't want you to be men anymore. They don't want men to be men. They want you to act like a sissy girl. They want you to do the weed. And so they popped up in your neighborhood, all these weed places, and who knows what it's being treated with to make you act bizarre like that. And then they want the women to be, we don't need a man syndrome. You see a lot of these videos on YouTube, and they always talk about Mother Earth. Now I do like going to nature. I do like nature. And if you got Mother Nature, how could they never talk about Father Sky? You got Mother Earth, you got Father Sky. You need both of them. You need both. But they want you to believe that you don't need one another and to hate one another, and promoting this alphabet soup mentality. This alphabet soup mentality is, again, to re-sculpture the human body, the human mind, to make you confuse and lose your identity. When you lose your identity, they can put anything in that program and make you think you're a donkey, a horse, a zebra, a cow, a fish. They are confusing you deliberately, and they targeting at a younger age, younger and younger and younger, and putting this filth, inappropriate material for your little ones to partake. This is part of the program, and they know it. They know the earlier you get to a child, the easier it is to program the way they think about themselves. What do they want you to think about yourself? Oh, I don't know whether I'm a boy or girl. Oh, they're motivating me to eat this high high caloric food so I can get diabetes, and then put stress on me with this violence. And so I have high blood pressure now. Oh, but we got this new technology. Now they have those nanotechnologies, these things that you can put on your arm or leg. It's a band, and it has these nano things, and it deadens pain. And who did they show? They showed a young black uh, female who's a runner. Oh, wow, my pain went away. Yeah, I bet it's going to do a lot of things. They want you to trust technology, and they don't want you to trust your common sense. They are reshaping the way you think to believe in technology, to believe in these developers of technology, these cars. Now they want you to focus on what are those e-cars, where you got an e-car. How these things are going to be put energy? It's going to require oil as well. These stations to charge your car is going to also require energy from, usually, what's that, gasoline or something. Yeah. Then these cars are going to be programmed now. You're going to be programmed that you can only go to certain areas now. You can't leave your neighborhood. What do you call the smart cities? Smart cities with smart cars. And so it drives you automatically. They have cars that is programmable, and you just tell it where to go, and it can drive you to your destination. Hello. But you think it's all cool because you think it's a necessity. You become dependent on it. You know what else they told me about this other YouTuber that I spoke to? They were initially they were saying things on the surface that seemed kind of bad about the continent of Africa, and they questioned themselves: how come Africans are not with the technology and this and that? You've heard the story. Then it dawned on them: see, these are natural people. These people are natural, and they're resistant to these technology. They have more common sense. They have more common sense. They have their own food. And you notice also with these certain locations, the traditional, the people that eat the traditional food, you notice how straight their teeth are, how white their teeth are. But you notice places that have the processed food, those people who have more money to buy the junk food, the American treats, like that, they're getting bad teeth. You don't think that these women in these African countries, they're pushing, at least in the states they're doing it, they were pushing the mommies to use baby formula. Baby formula. Well, you think artificial milk is superior to mommy's breast milk? People, ladies that are out there, young ladies, you don't wonder why your little boy, little girl ain't thinking too tight? Are you using that baby formula because you think it's primitive to look like an African? And so you don't want to be like those people. You want to do what those rich white ladies do, and use the baby formula so they can keep their breast looking, younger. Ladies, they are tricking you. Yeah, some of these white ladies are waking up too. They know the importance of real breast milk. You notice also mothers who use breast milk, human breast milk for their babies. You notice they have better teeth. But yeah, mothers who use that juice to give their kids. I saw this kid one time with this black teeth. I mean, when you put a baby bottle with milk or that sugared water, and you have the baby sleep with it in the mouth, the teeth turn black, literally black, because of the acid, and then it rots the teeth and it turns black. That's what happens. I personally have seen this. Mommies who don't put it together, get their act together, and want the easy way out. Technology is to give you the easy way out and make you an unnatural woman. Unnatural. They want you unnatural. They reward you by giving you the baby formula so that your children do not do well in school because they can't think. Their teeth become crooked. They're not sharp. They're sleeping. You know, when you're feeding your kid candy and those highly processed, like the white bread, white sugar, pasta, those are all sugars. And they give you a peak and then a crash. And your kids in school and not feeling well. And then you have those poor families, maybe they didn't get in the system yet. You know, back in the day during the, let's say, the 1920s. Yeah, my father was a poor guy. They were poor. They were so poor that they could not afford those candies or cookies and stuff. And so she probably made that West Indian food, eat the what we call it, grounds provisions, the greens. And my father had perfect straight teeth. Perfect. And he was real tall. Big bone. Yep. And yes, he had a very sharp mind. And he used his mind and got himself out of poverty. Yeah, back in the day, black people in New York, or kids of immigrants in New York City, yeah, they follow a career path. They decide, okay, they're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then they went to college. Black people, black men and women went to college here in New York City. They went to City College here in Manhattan. That was considered the poor man's Harvard school. The poor man's Harvard, City College in New York City. And yes, he moved up the ladder. So this poor boy, my father talked often about being hungry. Yeah, he came from a large family, and there was a lot of violence too. But he followed a career path, you know, and he learned to use his mind, and he became wealthy. Oh yes. So what now? There were more discrimination back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. So what happened? We have more ability, more opportunities now in America, but why do you have more and more black men in particular being held back from this opportunity? Why? Because you're being socially engineered. That's why. They're teaching you that not to get along, not to be part of community, but they're brainwashing you through the music that you listen to. They're brainwashing you by the food you eat that is not quality food, and you notice a lot of black people in America have allergies, always allergies, right? You can't hardly breathe. You're wheezing. That's the word. You have what do you call it? When you can't breathe and you're wheezing. Oh, asthma. That's the word. Asthma. How could all these black people get asthma? If we were that sick during slavery, we wouldn't have survived. So why is it now you're getting asthma? Tell me. Could it be the food that you're eating and that the lack of breast milk, that your immunity didn't get strong, the lack of it? And so now you're prone to asthma attacks, of having a weak immune system. They are trying to destroy you slowly but surely, separating the family. And they're not just doing this to black, they're doing this to everybody, but they're getting you first to and they're doing this as like a testing ground. They always target a group that's being used as the control sample. The experimental group. Every domain has its experimental group that they target against to later then be used upon all of you, regardless to your race, religion, national origin, gender, etc., etc. Their goal, AI, is to take over the planet, in my opinion. They want you so dependent on this new technology. People not even walking. You notice now those scooters, that with what used to be a child's toy, and now it's commonplace. No one's walking. They're using the scooter now. So you got a fat person on a scooter and they think they're going to exercise. Could you believe that? These scooters all over. Are there scooters in your neighborhood? They're all over here now. Well, you do have regular bicycles too, but now the bicycles are being now. They have these electric bicycles, and electric bicycles was illegal, but the system allowed them because these were the guest workers in New York, and they're tired delivering the food to you. And maybe, I'm speculating here, maybe the restaurants and all that are paying off the cops to not arrest the people on the food delivery bikes. Hello, people. Hello, hello, hello. Just speculating that what could be happening, because it was illegal, and now they're selling electric bikes all throughout the city. Yeah, see, they're getting you dependent on technology to carry you anywhere. I mean, you still have the regular cyclists. You got those people, those diehard cyclists, and you still have the die-hard joggers and all that. You have that. But what's creeping now is a system. It's trying to centralize your behavior to make it more um, hive mind like now all these bicycles, and so you're becoming like a hive mind. You're all well, you know what other country does this hive mind thing? China. Communist China. I'm not talking about the people. I like people from China, but I don't like communism. And you notice also that they use Black Americans for the communist socialist movement in America. Don't you notice that? Obama, a socialist, but it's all it's all it's becoming, it's starting to look more and more, and it's looking more and more like communist China in New York. And no, I'm not against Chinese people. I am against communism and socialism that is tricking people to see, it's not just communism and capitalism. Okay, they both go hand in hand. Communism and capitalism, in my opinion, the same coin, but different sides of the coin. And ultimately, that the system wants to control the whole planet, but it does so in pieces. So if you think so and so is different than your system, okay, they have their side, you have your own. But slowly, they're going to try to combine the two systems, communist, capitalist, and fuse them together. But notice who they are utilizing to do that. A lot of Black people. I'm not just trying to poo-poo on it. Blacks in America was known as like the victim. We were always the victim of crime, uh, or be the perpetrator. But now we're being perpetrators of the government system. all on the guise of getting back out whiting. Now, you might feel like you're getting back at a particular uh, group in history, but you're also destroying yourself and you don't see it. You don't see that they put a wedge between Do you see, how often do you see black men and black women holding hands together? I don't see it. I live right here in New York City and I don't see it. I do not see community or family. I don't see it. What they're doing, they're feeding you another lifestyle option, they call it, another lifestyle choice via the LGBT community, like the Obamas and the socialist, communist philosophies. They seem to go hand in hand in the United States. And then you have chaos that follows. And chaos has followed New York City. It is in such a delicate, fragile state right now. And that's why I wanted to move originally. I wanted out of here. After I had gotten assaulted by this crazy white woman. Yeah, they even having a lot of some of the white people, young white people, losing it. Oh yeah, yeah. I got attacked 1.5 years ago by this crazy young white woman, and yes, the cops let her go. They put her in the ambulance first because she barfed because she was drunk. Yep, that's what happened. Yeah, she was a schizophrenic and she didn't take her medication. And so they said that they had to bring her to a Bellevue. And while I'm in pain, it was horrible. But yeah, they're being triggered also. You have young white people who are being triggered and cuckoo, and they're all over. I mean, New York has its domain. Yeah, a lot of the whites left. The person that attacked me, I don't think she's from New York City. She looked like she looked different, how she dressed and everything. She was different. I think she was a newcomer and faced with what she was faced with. But yeah, a lot of the whites did move away from New York City. And now what you have here in New York City, you have a very large uh, population of what you call migrants that they brought a bus from south of the border and then they put them in our neighborhoods. How do you figure how do you figure doing something like that when New York City lost so many businesses because of this past 3 years? So many business closed and you have so many people living on the street, and then you're going to bring mommies with young kids and these dudes that have tattoos on their face that look like they're under the influence of some type of chemical. They look real dangerous, some of them. So mommies with babies or youngsters, and they have the buses for them to go to school. Or who's paying for this? Who's paying for this? Why are these people from our black officials? Uh, don't they realize that the funding to support these immigrants? And again, I'm not against immigration. But if I'm to go to a different country, you have to have a bank account. You have to have a certain amount in that account. You have to show what do you call it? FBI check, all the history check, all these things. Where you going to live? You have to have all that paid. It's a system to the process, and they're being bypassed, and they're using your money, black man and woman, from your what from your tax dollars, and it's being funneled out of your mouth and going into those other people's mouth. Anybody could come through a border. Anybody could come through Mexico. You think only Mexicans are coming through that border? You have people from Europe. You have people from Africa. You have people from the Caribbean. You have people from Canada. You have anybody that could that get access to come in through there, and nothing is being monitored. Anybody could say, "Oh, I'm being persecuted." Okay, there's a system. There's a way at doing that. And once they come in through the door, they're supposed to get a hearing. They said over 80% of those people never show up for their hearing. So it's like an open card for them. It's all a scam. It's all a scam to close down America, to make it in such a disaster. It is an enemy. To do this process by deliberately bringing in people who cannot support themselves and who may be gangbangers, or they might be drug dealers. Some people are innocent. Some are just are what they are, what they say they are. But the majority of people they're being exploited also. Hey, let's promise these people all these things, and it's also being used for voting. They're good. Stop. Sorry. Come on, cut it out. These people are also going to be used for voting. Don't you notice that they bring them in Democrat areas? Don't you notice that? They bring them in Democratic states because they know in general how they will vote. And so they're weaponizing people who really do need a home, an opportunity to make a better life for them and their kids. They're being exploited also, some of them. And they're going to make it also easy. They have this thing in New York City. It's called this card. I forget it's a card to go into like places like museum. They call it cultural events. Well, once you get one type of city ID, then you can get another type of city ID, and then eventually a driver's license, and then eventually documents, and then the ability to vote illegally. That is the goal. And that is not being smart. And they said, well, we want to get a Whitey. Well, you're going to need more to beat Whitey at his game, as you might call them. But they're being used to destroy you, black man and woman. And you're sitting back and you think that you're hurting your so-called enemy. But who you're hurting is yourself. You are hurting your children when they don't have a desk or book to read in the school because there's no room for them. No, nothing, no tutors because there's no funding. Maybe your school lunch. You got so many kids, it's not enough food to feed all those kids. You are being used and you don't see it. You are not helping your children when you don't speak out about these um, migrant workers that are being used as a tool to remove you. Who do they hire? In New York City, they're not hiring a lot of black people. They are hiring migrant workers. They don't want black people to work in certain industries, restaurants, hotel restaurants. I used to work in them, and I was booted out. Here I'm an American woman. I'm a veteran of the United States Navy. And the harassment I got, they smell American Army, they hear my accent, and they don't want me there. And they do, and they try to set you up. That happens. You try to get a job, let's say even as a maid, cleaning, working hotels to do cleaning. They don't want you there. They don't want you there. They want foreigners in there. Again, when you have the foreigners, you could give them less pay and harass them more, but they keep a job. It is very difficult to be certain things in certain demographics. It was very hard for me to live here and work here in New York City. Our communities are being taken away. Housing. There are very few Black people that live in my building that I live in. But how is that people from other nationalities are able to live here? How is that certain people that work here, how come they're all of another demographics and no Black people that work here? How is that? How does that happen? How? Because they don't want you to work here. They don't want you to work here. And you're not speaking out. You think anyone with brown or Black skin is your friend. They're not your friend. They want to take from your community, and they're getting a new type of privilege over you. And they're watching you in despair, and they don't help a finger to get you out of your situation when you do try, when you do legitimately try to better yourself, the opportunities. And it seems like in New York, the only time that they will benefit a Black man is that if he's an LGBT community person. If you're a straight Black male, they don't want you. Or if you are a Black male, they don't want you with a Black woman. They want you with another race. They don't want you to pair up with a Black female. They don't want Black people in relationships with one another. They want to split you up because they want to control your neighborhood. They want to control. They don't want another we call Malcolm X mentality. So they may socially engineer. If you are an up and coming Black man, they always seem to pair you with somebody from some other race other than you. Look at Kanye West. Do I need to say any more? Do I need to say any more? Kanye West. Look at some of the sports people, high profile sports people. Again, it's your choice who you love. And this video is not about criticizing what you like in a partner. What you like is your business. It's all about what you like, and you find someone that likes what you like, go ahead. But I'm talking about things that are being socially engineered to prevent you from liking your own, deny you access to, when I was growing up, they didn't allow Black men and women together to work together if you worked in a private industry. They would never get you together. They don't want you to work in the same room. They don't. And so I think it still continues. It's to separate you from each other. It's stressful, and you start wondering, why don't you like your own? Why aren't you attracted to your own race? Because they're socially engineering you to feel that way against you. Look at all these women in New York City wearing. Again, I know this might be a little insensitive, but I've gone there before. I've tried it. I tried a lot of things with my hair. I at one time had chemically relaxed my hair. I had at one time had put a hair weave on. I had it on for 2 weeks, and I had to take it off because it was I developed a bald spot in my head. Someone was combing my hair with the weave on. They were washing it, and they said, "You got bald spots." I was horrified. Yeah, life. See, life happened to me too. Yeah, I was under the same system like all of you, but life got me hard, and it taught me early in life to appreciate my natural hair, my natural lips, my natural nose, my natural skin color. I now really appreciate what I have. But all around me, I see all these people with these things on their head, and I'm wondering how their scalp could breathe. How could they breathe? How could you really love yourself with the things that you do to your own body on top of your head? I'm just saying, again, here is a very personal thing with women, with all women, regardless of race or color. Here is a very personal thing. But I'm just saying, see, they don't want you to like yourself. Did you hear that hair relaxers cause fibroids? I'm the only one in my family that has a fibroid. I'm the only one with my type of hair. Yeah, I developed it, but the others never had it. Why is that? Hello, I just heard of that last year, about 1 or 2 years ago, that hair relaxers give women fibroids. Hello, people. And did you know that some of the glues that they use in the what do you call it? The hair those hair wigs, the lace front hair wigs, or the weaves, things that they use to put those things on. A lot of them are cancerous, people. Did you know that sometimes people develop products because they know that it's going to cause disease in your body? Did you know that? Start noticing other women who might eat certain foods, or all men too, men and women, who start noticing patterns in people and their behaviors, what they eat and what they wear, and they hear, what they do to it, and their weight, what they eat. Notice what they're eating and their weight. Notice what they hear, and what does it look like? Do they look bloated? Do they look angry all the time? Start noticing what is happening to them. What is happening? Thank you, Pamela. Thank you. Thank you for your encouragement. Start noticing. I'm not just trying to be mean. I've been through it. I hated my skin color. I hated my big lips. I hated everything about myself. But now, as I said earlier, I did a ritual to embrace all my genetics, both black and white. Yeah, I do. People, it's a powerful thing that you can do. And I'll repeat what I did to help liberate me. I'm a work in progress. Yes, I am. I am a work in progress. But I believe in being honest with people, so you can get out of the hole. Awareness is where it starts. Yeah, I have I hated every aspect of myself. I hated my body, my face. I had an extreme inferiority complex, and life had showed me through. Yes, there was racism a lot when I was younger, and in my yeah, I faced a lot, but I'm now older, and I start noticing other people. I said, "What makes you so better than me? Who says that you're better because of your race or color, whatever?" And I started to go within and noticing hypocrisies that I saw in other races, that we're no different from each other. We may have different shapes, sizes, and colors, but we are the same, basically. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff. You have poor white people and you have poor black people. The world is a big place and people are suffering all over the world. But again, with the ritual that I did, um, I bought a ceramic bowl, a big ceramic bowl. I made an altar, a nice, I got a little surface, and I used a tray actually, a little white tray, plastic tray, and then I put candles, and then in particular, I put this. I bought alcohol for my libation. Libation is like you're doing, like a toast to something, you know. Um, and of the nationalities or race or islands where my genetics comes from, I bought uh, an alcohol, a bottle of alcohol from those countries or locations. And here too, one time someone said, well, what about here? You're here in America. Yes, and I got one to represent New York City, Long Island. I was born on Long Island, but in the New York City portion of Long Island. Yes, and I bought something from there. So I bought all those things that represented my genetics. And then I had the big bowl. And then I spoke to my genetics. I spoke to what you call the ancestors. Everybody got an ancestor. And you may have ancestors that don't look like what you currently look like. Ancestors are ancestors, regardless how it came about, whether it was consensual or one of violation. It doesn't matter. What matters is you have genetics and you have to live with your body. Okay. So I spoke to my ancestor, within myself. I said, in short, basically what I said to each ancestor that I knew of, um, that the things that happen in history, basically to heal any traumas that happened, and that I forgive. Yeah, you gotta forgive. You gotta forgive people who've done things to you. Your ancestors, yes, some of your ancestors, you might have had parents or grandparents, aunts or uncles or whatever, who done harm to you. Or let's say your ancestors hurt other ancestors, but it's all in your genetics. So I I spoke words of comfort, words of encouragement, and forgiveness and healing. And then I said, uh, my genetics are very diverse, but let us come together as one, as one, and let us help us move forward. And that's what I did. And so I have no problems with the concept of different races of people living within my genetics. You have what you have. You think everybody is only one thing? People the world is small. People have access to trains and planes and buses. People mingle. When you have a man and a woman, you have man and woman. Regardless, you'd be surprised who's getting it on. So don't go by what Hollywood wants to convince you of. Hollywood is a program and they're there to destroy. Just look at people you notice the people in California, how they act? Why is it so many homeless and what they might call degenerates living near Hollywood? You don't think those people are being affected by something? It's an evil spirit, and Hollywood is an evil entity. It's evil, and it is a program that is to be utilized for social engineering. It is horrible what's happening to those people out there in California. It's Cali weird. That's it. Cali weird. It's very bizarre. Yeah, but they're being infected big time. Don't believe all what Hollywood is telling you. Don't believe the things that you see. Start maybe reading certain things in history. Start maybe like what Mr. Tate, what I talked about Mr. Tate, the influencer. And yes, very controversial, that man. But some things he talks about is very true. He encouraged people to go beyond how they feel. He said, yes, there's going to be times you don't feel like exercising. And when you're busy, you don't have time to be depressed. When you're busy, you don't have time to be depressed. He said, start at least taking care of your health and start exercising. And he told that to this guy who was suicidal. And he says, oh, I'm not a doctor, but what I can tell you, go get yourself a six-pack tummy and then call me back and we'll talk again. And he said he called back. He said he achieved that goal. He got his six-pack and he's no longer depressed. Yet, see, the scientists teach you that when you're depressed, they call it clinical depression, and like it's a disease and that you can't cure it. So they make you helpless and then they want you dependent on drugs. That's the whole key. They want you people, regardless of your race, religion, national origin, etc., they want you dependent on a pill that controls the way you think. And they make a lot of money off of you when you buy that prescription. He said, if you're busy taking care of your health and exercise, you don't have, you're just too busy to be depressed. And he started feeling good about himself because now he got a good body. And why he was depressed, this individual, is because his girlfriend had left him. And so he's depressed. And the doctor said, oh, you're clinically depressed. Like it's a disease, like you can't cure it. Oh, but just take this pill. Be careful what you put in your body. And I'll say again, be very careful what you put in your body. Be careful what you put in your body because it might be designed to control your thoughts. To control when they control your thoughts, they can then control what you do. And that's the name of the game. They want to control the way and the things that you do. Because again, technology now is the new masters. They're not blonde and blue-eyed anymore. They don't have to wear a white sheet over their head. They just have this technology and it's in everybody's home. You have people that have more than one device in their home. And don't you think those AIs are observing you, telling you what to feel about yourself, about your neighbor? Oh, you got sick. Oh, you got a bad cough. Oh, you got to wear a mask. How could wearing a mask prevent you from getting a virus? Why didn't they tell you to wear goggles? That same virus can get in your eye. Hello, people. We were duped. We were duped for these past, in my opinion, it's just an opinion. We were duped for this past few years, duped to make us afraid to even talk to one another. And then to put in these equipment in the schools. Remember that they closed the schools down? There's no reason. The kids were not at risk. The elderly were at risk. And then they said you can't have certain treatment. In New York City, they didn't have certain treatments. They said it is banned in New York City. My medical doctor said, wow, telling you your medicine is horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, now family members want to fight against family. Did that happen to you? Your family are against each other and you snitching on each other, talking about one another, trying to harm one another. Yeah, wow. Yeah, this is all socially engineered, but it's a new day. It is a new day. Yeah, I said earlier in my live stream, what I was doing the past 2 weeks when YouTube pulled my channel. Yeah, I'm trying to get my health in order uh, to improve my blood pressure. Yeah, all of a sudden my blood pressure started acting up for the first time. Um, what else? My cholesterol. What else? My sleeping. Yeah, so I'm trying to be good to myself, and I was thinking about joining a health club. Yeah, I would prefer to just be able to do it here and save money. You know, but I have to see. We have to encourage one another. We all need encouragement. I need encouragement, and so I need to surround myself by individuals who are very positive. And yes, maybe Mr. Tate is very controversial, but some things he gets on the head. And one thing he gets on the head is taking responsibility over your life. There are individuals from the Black community, the mixed race community, whatever community you want to call it. There's some who are doing well, who are not making excuses. I don't want to make excuses anymore. I really want to take responsibility over my life. We're all a work in progress. The past is the past. But how about let us push forward for a bright future, to be good to our bodies, to be good to our children, if you have children, to speak kind words to them, to not make them ashamed of their hair or their body, or tell them that you love them. Get close to nature. Go out in nature. Maybe make a sandwich. Stop going out to so many of those fast food. Yeah, I love Chinese takeout fast food. Yeah, I love my chicken and broccoli. But if you're going to eat out, try to eat foods that are healthier. Tell them no. What do you call it? MH. What do you call it? MHT. That tasting, make things taste a certain way. Tell them to exclude the sugars. Yeah, start making your own food. Decrease the decrease those things that tooth decay. Yeah, I have to get my teeth together. That was another thing that was happening. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I have to take care of my teeth. Yeah, so I decrease my starches tremendously, and I'm doing what I can. I made an appointment with the doctor, so yeah, next month I'll see my physician, and go from there. Yeah, if the busier that I try to stay busy, try to be good to yourself. Get your sleep. Yeah, I wasn't sleeping either, and that can affect your blood pressure. Oh yeah, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. Yeah, start noticing any habits that you might have that's not serving you. How's your health? How's your health as a black person, a white person, a yellow person, a red person? How is your health? How is it? Let's start let's start and try to do something to improve it. Yeah, they're trying to kill us all of us. We're all in jeopardy. The enemy is your mind and body game. Let's push forward despite how we feel. Yeah, I'm tired, boy. I get so tired. But let me try to push forward. Push forward. If you're sick, if you got, pull muscle, I'm not saying for you to torture yourself. Be kind to your body. Listen to what your body's telling. Sometimes your body is also telling you to chill out, to take it easy. Maybe you're overdoing it too. That can happen also. You're running yourself to the grave because you're too active. Your body needs rest and your body needs exercise. Moderation. And you may need to tweak it a little bit. Sometimes, you might go over too much to the left, to the right, but somewhere in the middle. And that's what I want to learn how to do, to um, get things, to watch things that will motivate me. Yeah, I want to come out of my pit. This pity party, it's not helping. And being around pity party people is not beneficial. Yeah, I want a bright future for me. Yeah, about being healthy and being happy. Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted if I do join a gym or if I just do my exercises here. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Yeah, eat right, people. Drink plenty of water. Stay away from the refined salts. The processed salt that they when you go to a restaurant or something. Yeah, though that's highly processed. Get the pure salt, the sea salts. Um, Yeah, I go to this place in the city. It's a spice store. It's owned by South Asians. It's an Asian store, South Asian store. They have everything that you could imagine. That's for cooking. They have the spices, there's different types of sea salts. They have different oils and things like that. You know, learn to cook your own food. Learn. Feed your body. Feed your body. And maybe rather than boycott it because what happened to Leroy, you know, maybe you could say, hey, restaurant, fast food place, we don't want you in our neighborhood anymore. We don't want you to serve us junk. See, that's powerful. Doing something like that is powerful. They're teaching your children weird things in school. You say enough is enough. See, enough of you uh, protest or argue. They're going to think twice. They do it to you because you don't speak out. You don't speak out. So they think, hey, it must be okay to do it. But it's not okay. It's not okay to target your children, to get them confused. It's not okay to put those drugs in your neighborhood. It's not okay when they don't want to hire you, but they're importing all these what they call guest workers or migrant workers, and you're living on the street. This is a no-no. A no-no. Stop looking at those videos that are criminalizing you. Stop watching those videos that men are calling women bad names and women are calling men bad names. Don't watch those. Don't watch it. Start loving yourself. You guys are really good at heart. I want to believe that. I want to believe all of us, no matter what your race or nationality, that we are all on a spiritual path. And it's time for us to wake up. Wake up, people. Wake up. The door is opening for you. Choose wisely as the creator for wisdom. Yeah, I need that. Yes. A creator, please give me more wisdom. Please give me knowledge too, and to be able to manage both wisdom and knowledge so that I could live a prosperous life. If you like that little prayer, you can repeat the prayer to yourself. Yeah, treat yourself right. If you got children, start doing things together. You don't need money to do things. You don't need money to walk in a park together or hold hands. Start developing these true relationships with your family. If it's safe to do so, some families you need to stay away. We all know about that. We all know there's certain family members you better stay away from. But those people who are really good people at heart, that have a chance, that want to do better, you know, focus on that. Focus on what you do have, you know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I appreciate you people who are out there listening. Yeah, I was uh target, my videos were two of my videos were pulled days apart, and then they say you got two strikes and you in the doghouse, so to speak, for 2 weeks. And this is the end of the 2 weeks, so I decided to take a chance to see if the ban is off. And yes, I'm happy that it's open now. I do have to be very careful. Um, I do have another channel. What do you call it? Oh, what's this called? Oh, embarrassing. I forget the name. It's some other social media thing. Oh, bro, how could I forget? Oh, well. Um, yeah, because there's always chances that they may not like this video, or some might complain about me in this video. We're all human. We're all a work in progress. And, your life is your own. I'm not here to poo-poo on anybody's lifestyle. I'm here about those people who want to wake up, someone who wants a chance in life, another chance in life to take responsibility over their own lives rather than being a slave. Don't let anybody or anything enslave you. Be the master over your life. You're the master over your life. Only you could truly control you. And don't give anybody the opportunity to do it to you. Okay? I thank you again. Boy, I had so much fun doing this live stream. I have to get some breakfast now. It's kind of late. Yeah, I got to eat now. I got to feed my little doggy woggies. Yeah, they were very good. I'm going to give them a nice sized bowl and their little treat. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you guys and gals. I appreciate you. Yeah, you could uh, tell your friends, family members, if you like this live stream and want to see, hear things that might be uplifting or, encouraging or informative. Yeah, let them know about my channel and enjoy life, enjoy yourself. Go look in the mirror and tell yourself that I love you. Tell yourself that and pat yourself on the back, pat yourself on the chest that you're okay. And that's what the message I want to install in you, that we are all okay. Thank you again. Peace, love, joy, and harmony be unto you. Thank you again, people. Until next time, I hope soon. Bye bye.